What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Handles. I am Lorenzo, and of course in this platform we focus on mistakes that I have made that hopefully you can avoid. So before we get started, make sure that you are subscribing to this channel, that you hit that bell, you put some likes, dislikes, some comments, some feedback, whatever it may be. Let me hear it so I can continue to update the material. Today's story is titled, Keep Playing. Question of the day. What's your most memorable humbling experience? I'm pretty sure the story I'm about to share is something you've probably been through before, but with a slight twist. Let's get started. Everyone has a grip on life. Everybody feels like they have a handle. Afraid to share the mistakes. The stories are what connect us. They are the key. We're running out of time. So at this point in my life, I am living in a place called Heidelberg, Germany. Awesome place. Have a lot of great memories there. However, in this specific situation, I guess that can be thrown upside down. Nevertheless, every day I used to go to school and I would take the bus home from school. I had a really good friend. At that time, it was my best friend. His name was Nick. Nick lived right around the corner from me. So whenever we'd get off the bus, we'd have to take the same walking route to get home. He would make a right to go home. I would keep straight, but we were just pretty much around the corner from each other. Every time we walked home from the bus stop, we had to pass this open field. And it was like almost shaped like a baseball diamond, but someone had turned it into almost like a vegetable garden. So it's this huge vegetable garden that looked like a baseball diamond. Not important. Nevertheless, we had to always walk around that specific field to get to our house. We always enjoyed walking by this field for one main reason. Big Red. No. Not Big Red the drink. Big Red was a dog. Now mind you, this field was fenced in. Pretty good sized fence. We'll say 5 feet. Not that I remember back then, but we'll say about 5 feet. So Big Red lived inside of it, clearly. I don't know what kind of dog he was, but he was huge and he never bothered anybody. But leave it up to two unique individuals to change that specific mood. To be perfectly honest with you, it all started when I would go into my lunchbox and I knew that I had to eat everything before I got home because my mom would be upset if I didn't. So I would throw all my scraps to Big Red. He would eat them. We had a pretty good relationship. But he never really moved. He would just slide over to the food, eat it, fall back down. Slide over to the food, eat it, fall back down. So one day Nick and I come up with this idea that, look, I wonder if Big Red ever gets up. I wonder if he ever gets upset. I wonder if he ever gets angry. I wonder what's going to happen if he does. So we try some different techniques. So we start picking up little rocks one day. We throw them at him. Doesn't really do anything. He just kind of growls, smells it. He sees it's not food. He growls. We walk on. Next day we come, throw some more rocks, maybe a little bit of grass at him. Growls some more. Nothing serious. We walk on. One day me and Nick look at each other and we say, hey, what would happen if Big Red got upset and started running after us? And I said, man, we don't have to worry about that. One, we're too smart, so we probably jump on the car or something like that. We're way too fast, so we get home in time. Man, we're just too intelligent for it. We got too many resources at our fingertips to make sure nothing would happen just in case Big Red didn't run after us. So as the months go by, we continue playing with Big Red. Now, he started to change his attitude a little bit because one day we threw some rocks at him and this time he stands up. He doesn't charge, but he stands up. Me and Nick look at each other and say, that was pretty cool. We talk about it on the rest of our walk home. The next day, same thing. But this time, he gets up and he starts trotting towards the fence. Not sprinting, just trotting. So we back up a little bit from the fence and we start speed walking to the house, right? It's getting interesting. 2 or 3 days later, we do it again. and Big Red charges full speed at us. Full speed, like no stop. He's charging full speed at us. So at this point, you plant your sprint foot, right? You plant your dominant foot and you take off sprinting. Who gives a damn about the markers falling out your book bag? Who gives a damn about the pencils that are going everywhere? Who gives a damn about the lunchbox that you dropped? But guess what? He runs all the way up to the fence and he stops. Right there at the fence. Me and Nick turn around and go, oh man. We start hugging each other. We said, man, that was intense, right? Thought Big Red was gonna come after us. This is pretty intense. But even if he would have, we're too smart, we're too fast, too quick, too agile, too everything. He'd never get to us. So we're sitting right there in the middle of the street and we're hugging each other, right? As if we just lost some type of family member, but that's not important. Right at that moment, I hear a honk. Both of us turn around like, what the hell is that? It's my father. So he's in the car trying to figure out why we're sitting in the middle of the street. He's coming home from work. So we hop in the car. He starts driving down the road to get us back home. He says, hey guys, what were you guys doing hugging in the middle of the street? That looked kind of awkward. We're like, oh, we're just messing around, you know. Big Red was coming after us, so we were just kind of celebrating, that type of thing. He says, oh, okay, I got you. So he turns right, drops Nick off. As soon as Nick closes the door, we start driving back to the house. He turns and looks at me and says, son, why were you guys messing with Big Red? What has he done to you guys? I said, nothing, Dad. We're just kind of having some fun, just kind of poking fun at him, laughing and joking. You know, Dad, that's all. I said, I got it. I hear you. So he says, I hear you, son. And I get that it's fun right now, but you got to be very careful. There's certain things in life that you don't play with because nature has a way of humbling you. Well, that's some stupid Bruce Lee shit. I'm like, man, I'm not listening to that, Dad. I get you. Yeah, Dad, I get you. No problem. I got it. It's all right. Keep playing. If that's what you guys want to do, by all means, keep playing. It's on a Friday. 2 days later, we're getting off the bus. But this time, when we get off the bus, there's like 8 to 12 other people that get off the bus with us. Some other classmates. But come to find out, there was another student that lived around the corner from us that was having to get together a party, and they were all going to that party. Now, just a side note, I was kind of pissed off because me and Nick weren't invited, but that's not important. Nevertheless, we're taking that walk home. I noticed the 8 to 12 classmates, they also have to walk in our direction. No big deal. We're talking, chatting, having a good time. Nobody's even thinking about Big Red. Me and Nick ain't paying no attention. Well, we get around the gate to kind of walk around the field, of course, and something tells me to look up. So I look up and further out in the distance and I see something small getting a little bit bigger. Sure has some speed behind it. I said, oh, that's just Big Red. Now the rest of the students and or the kids that are with us are like, oh my gosh. And they stand away, they back away a little bit from the fence. But they're continuing their momentum while they're walking. I'm not thinking about it. Nick is talking. Everybody's just doing their usual thing except the rest of the kids. So they're kind of walking, keeping an eye. But Big Red was kind of speeding up in this situation. But I didn't think anything of it because we've seen him do this before. And he was just getting closer to the gate. And I know what he's going to do when he gets closer to the gate, right? So I'm not about to move. Hell, there's some girls in this crowd. I'm not going to look like a punk, right? I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to continue doing my usual as if it's not even bothering me. Then the worst happens. Big Red takes flight. Now, just to pause the story, we all have those moments that are what you would like to probably refer to, and I know I do myself, as oh shit moments. So, as a child, I never knew it was called that at that moment, but I use those exact terms. So he takes flight, and in the back of my mind, I'm saying to myself, he's not going to get high enough to clear the fence because he's too big. But then he cleared it, and I said, oh shit. I talked earlier about planting your dominant foot and taking off. Now, damn it, I'm a lot of things. I am a lot of things, but I ain't slow. I sure as hell ain't slow. Not physically, at least. So I was the first to get out the blocks. And if you haven't heard that term, that means I'm the first to hear the gun in the back of my mind in track and field and take off running. Everybody else was left in the blocks. So I have a sizable lead. Now, what's strange is the whole crowd starts to disperse, right? Everybody goes different directions. So I'm sprinting as fast as I can. Once again, I have this book bag strapped to my back. Pencils flying everywhere, markers flying. At this point, I should have remembered just to start zipping up my stuff. That's not important. Shit is just flying out of my book bag. It's a terrifying moment. Oh shit. But the good thing is this, is I knew I had a sizable lead. And another good thing is that there's 8 to 12 people that Big Red can eat. I'm not going to be one of them, clearly. But something tells me while I'm sprinting to turn around, I've got a friend in the crowd. Where's Nick at? So I take a quick glance, there's Nick. That's what's up, man. And I notice, now mind you, still have a sizable lead on Nick, but I notice when I look a little closer, I say, well, it looks like Big Red isn't following the crowd. Big Red's following us. Just me and Nick. So I just told you I had a sizable lead on Nick. And at this point I had to make a decision. I can't lie to you. I can't say it wasn't a tough decision either. It was a pretty easy decision. But I had to make a decision. Because at first my plan was that Big Red was going to be able to eat one of the other students that he wasn't used to seeing. That hasn't worked. Unfortunately, I have a sizable lead on Nick. And he's a great guy. I told you before that I'm a lot of things. Let me tell you one other thing that I'm not. That's a damn hero. I am not a hero. Nick is a great guy, great friend. Man, I'd do anything for Nick. But I wouldn't jump in between him and a dog. So at this point, every man for himself. So you know that look when your friend realizes you're not a hero as well, and he's hoping that you slow down so you can catch up? That's the look that Nick had at that moment. But it wasn't going to save him. So, Michael Johnson form, great stride, book bag lightning at the moment because everything's flying out and I am feeling good. The problem is this, I have to be able to get my key out and put it in the keyhole and turn it and get inside the house without Big Red eating me. So I have to create a little bit more distance between me and Nick. Nick, you're on your own! Good luck! Right? So, I notice as I'm going closer to my house, Nick has to make that right like we talked about before. He makes a right, Big Red makes a right with him. Whew. Man, it's good stuff. I'm not gonna break my stride yet, but this is good stuff. Get inside the house, lock the door, everything's good. Whew. Man, sucked for Nick, but at least I made it. So, a few hours later, I decide to call Nick, check on him, see if he wants to come over, play some video games, whatever. He doesn't pick up the phone. No big deal. He normally didn't anyways around that time, supper, whatever. Okay, I get you. I go to school on Monday. No Nick. That's unique. Where the hell this guy is, right? So that day, just out of the blue, my father picks me up from school. So the ride's going good, smooth, usual. My father opens up and says, hey, I got a call today around lunchtime from Nick's mother. And she was telling me to be careful because there was a dog in the neighborhood that was attacking people. He said, you wouldn't happen to know what dog that would be, would you? I said, no, Dad, I don't know what dog that would be. No clue. He said, I figured you'd say that. He said, well, Nick probably wasn't at school today because Nick is still nursing his wounds. He was one of those individuals that was attacked by a specific dog. So he said, I thought you should know that just in case you haven't seen him today or just in case you haven't heard from him in the last 2 days. So that's cool, Dad. I'll go over there and check on him, when I get home. Nothing else was said. So Nick ends up healing from his wounds. We had a little side conversation around how Big Red caught him, but that's not important. When I was over visiting Nick, the owner of Big Red stopped by the house and was talking to Nick's parents and was apologizing for what took place. What's so strange was in that conversation, the owner said, you know what? I don't know what came over him, but he's never acted like this. This is not who he is. So unfortunately, they ended up putting Big Red down. Now in the back of my mind, I had to ask myself, was I one of the main reasons why Nick was injured and why they had to put Big Red down? Here's an owner that lost his dog, a dog that lost its life, a friend that lost a forearm, per se, and a father who's lost confidence in me. To be perfectly honest, I'm still learning that lesson to this day. As an adult, when I think about my health, the relationships and the people I let close to me, my hobbies, some of my habits, there's a lot of those things that I shouldn't be playing with, and here I am still messing around. So my ask is simple. Whatever those circumstances or those habits or hobbies that you participate in that you know are not the best thing for you, you may think you're too fast, you're too strong, you're too smart, you're too quick, you're too resourceful, the fence is too high, the circumstance is too big. You may think about all those things in your mind, and it may ease you a little bit to assume that you can do whatever you want to do and that it'll never catch you. But like my father said, nature has a very unique way of humbling you. I suggest you stop playing. Thanks for hanging with me on another episode of Handles. If you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to share it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell and that thumbs up. My name's Lorenzo. I'll catch you guys next time, right here on Handles.